Story 1. Raindrops relentlessly pounded against the windshield, blurring Adam's view as his car crept along the muddy mountain path. The tires struggled for grip, splattering mud with each rotation. The evening sky was thick with clouds, and distant flashes of lightning briefly illuminated the winding road ahead. Squinting, Adam finally caught sight of an old wooden sign, barely visible beneath a tangle of vines. Willow Village, nestled deep within the mountains. The village seemed forgotten by time, shrouded in layers of mist and legend. Adam's heart raced. This was the place he had sought after for months. A village haunted by an ancient, bottomless well said to imprison countless restless spirits. Pulling up at the village's entrance, Adam parked his vehicle near a decrepit inn. The structure's wooden beams groaned beneath the weight of age and neglect, and rainwater dripped incessantly from its sagging roof. He stepped out, his boots sinking into the waterlogged ground. The air was heavy with the scent of wet earth and decaying wood, sending an involuntary shiver down his spine. As he approached, the inn's door creaked open on its own, revealing an old man whose face was a maze of deep wrinkles. The innkeeper's gaze lingered on Adam, unreadable and vaguely foreboding. Without a word, he handed Adam a rusted key and gestured to a staircase leading up to the rooms. "Stay indoors tonight," the old man muttered, his voice as rough as gravel. "The village isn't safe after dark." Adam hesitated, unnerved by the cryptic warning, but curiosity propelled him forward. The staircase creaked loudly under his weight as he ascended. In his modest room, he secured the window against the howling wind and lit a flickering oil lamp. Shadows danced along the peeling walls, filling the room with a sense of uneasy anticipation. Night enveloped the village swiftly. Adam gathered his equipment, a flashlight, notebook, and recording device, and prepared himself. Legends of the ancient well were plentiful but vague, often dismissed as superstition by outsiders. Yet the villagers whispered of those who vanished without a trace near its depths, of voices that spoke in the dead of night, calling out from beyond the veil. The rain-soaked cobblestones of the village square glistened under the sparse moonlight. Adam's breath fogged in the cold night air as he approached the well at the square's center. It was covered by a heavy stone slab etched with worn, arcane symbols. Using every ounce of strength, Adam shifted the slab aside, exposing the gaping darkness beneath. A frigid gust rushed upward, wrapping around him like skeletal fingers. He aimed his flashlight downward, but its beam was swallowed by the blackness, revealing nothing. Just as he stepped back, a faint, almost melodic whisper drifted up from the well's depths. Adam froze, straining to make out the words. The whispers were soft, fragmented, like a distant lament carried on the wind. His pulse quickened, and he leaned closer, recording device in hand. The whispers intensified for a moment, then ceased abruptly. The sudden silence was oppressive, pressing in from all sides. He felt a chill race down his spine, as if unseen eyes were watching. He spun around, but the village square was empty, the shadows unmoving save for the swaying branches of old trees. Determined not to let fear get the better of him, Adam returned to the inn. The whispers haunted his thoughts throughout the night, their strange cadence replaying in his mind. He resolved to learn more about the well's history. The next morning, he visited the village elders. Most refused to speak, their expressions a mixture of fear and resignation. Only one, a woman named Eileen, agreed to share her story. Her eyes, clouded with age and sorrow, seemed to stare into the past as she spoke of her sister. 50 years ago, during a torrential storm, her sister had fallen into the well. Despite their best efforts, the villagers never recovered her body. Eileen led Adam back to the well, her hands trembling as she lit a small candle and whispered a prayer. "Some things never truly leave," she murmured. Her words echoed in Adam's mind as night fell once more. Determined to uncover the truth, he set up camp beside the well. The rain fell in sheets, extinguishing his meager fire, but he refused to leave. Hours passed. Then, as the clock struck midnight, the whispers returned, louder, clearer. "Come back. Stay with us? Forever? Adam felt an overwhelming dread. Shadows seemed to gather at the well's edge, and a spectral figure emerged. A woman with hollow eyes, her form barely distinguishable from the mist. She reached for him, her touch colder than ice. Panicked, Adam stumbled back, but the whispers grew louder, a chorus of anguished voices crying out for release. He realized then that the well was no mere legend. It was a prison, a gateway to something far darker and far more ancient than he had ever imagined. Story 2. Moonlight filtered through the clouds, casting an eerie glow over the abandoned amusement park. A group of teenagers, armed with flashlights, pushed through the rusted gates, their laughter echoing across the desolate grounds. They planned to spend an exhilarating night exploring the forgotten corners of the park. Jack, the protagonist, walked at the back of the group, his gaze occasionally sweeping over the dilapidated rides, a sense of unease creeping into his heart. They decided to split up to explore deeper into the park. Jack chose the carousel area, remembering the happy times he'd had there as a child. As he approached the carousel, a strange melody suddenly filled the air, seemingly emanating from the center of the ride. He looked around, realizing he was alone as the others had moved further away. The music grew louder, each note vibrating through his chest. The carousel began to turn slowly, despite no power source and no one to push it. Jack tried to leave, but the carousel seemed to appear before him every time he turned. Panic set in as the music was joined by the sound of children's laughter, a sound that sent chills down his spine. He could feel cold hands on his shoulders, but every time he turned, no one was there. He decided to return to the entrance to find his friends. But no matter how he walked, it seemed he could not leave the carousel area. He began to run, but the carousel always appeared in front of him. He stopped, panting, and the music and laughter stopped. He heard a little girl's voice asking, "Will you play with me?" Jack searched for the source of the voice but found nothing. He tried to stay calm and called his friends on his phone, but there was no signal. He shouted for his friends, but only echoes replied. He felt a deep sense of loneliness and fear, realizing he might be trapped in the cursed amusement park. He decided to return to the carousel to look for clues. As he approached, he saw a little girl sitting on the carousel, her eyes hollow and face fixed in an eerie smile. She reached out her hand, inviting Jack to join her. Jack felt an irresistible force drawing him to the carousel, and he sat down next to the little girl. The music started again, and the carousel began to spin faster. Jack felt trapped in an endless loop from which he could not escape. He began to hear more voices, laughter from past visitors, but now twisted and terrifying. He realized the amusement park was not just an abandoned place. It was a prison for trapped souls. Story 3. The highway stretched resolutely under the night sky, flanked by forests that loomed like black walls, confining the road within their grasp. Tom, a traveler, drove his old car through this desolate area. His destination was a small town where friends awaited him. However, as the night deepened, his phone's signal faded, and his navigation system failed. Suddenly, his headlights caught a little girl standing in the middle of the road. She wore a tattered dress, her hair disheveled by the wind. Tom stopped the car, rolled down the window, and asked if she needed help. The girl said she was lost and asked for a ride. He let her in, but in the rearview mirror, he horrifyingly saw the girl vanish. He stopped the car to check the back seat, but the girl was truly gone. A chill ran down his spine, and he decided to continue driving. Yet, every time he looked in the rearview mirror, he saw the girl's face getting closer. He tried to speed up, but no matter how fast he went, the girl seemed to keep up. Finally, he arrived at a town, parked the car to seek help, and found the entire town deserted. He entered a house that seemed relatively intact, hoping to find clues. The house was covered in dust, all furniture shrouded in white sheets. He went into the kitchen and found a diary on the table, its cover bearing a little girl's name. He opened the diary and began to read. It chronicled the life of a girl named Amy, who seemed to have gone missing many years ago. The diary mentioned an ancient legend about a cursed highway, where anyone traveling at night would be forever trapped. Tom felt a wave of fear. He realized he might have become part of this legend. He decided to leave the house, return to his car, and try to find a way out of town. But no matter how he drove, he seemed to circle back to the same spot. He began to see vague figures wandering the streets, searching for something. He decided to return to the house, hoping to find more information about the legend. In the basement, he discovered an old chest filled with photographs and newspaper clippings. The photos showed the vibrant town from decades ago. The clippings reported a series of disappearances, all of whom vanished while traveling the highway at night. Tom realized the town was a forgotten place, and all the trapped souls were searching for a way out. He began to search for a way to break the curse, hoping to find a method to wrest these souls and escape the cursed town. At the bottom of the chest, he found an old map marked with an ancient cemetery. Tom decided to visit the cemetery for clues. When he arrived, he found a gravestone with Amy's name and a picture of a little girl. The stone was inscribed with a message about how Amy had been trapped on the highway in an accident and disappeared. Tom suddenly understood that Amy's spirit had been wandering the highway, searching for someone to help her rest. He decided to perform a simple ritual at Amy's grave, hoping to help her spirit find peace. He lit candles, recited the prayers on the gravestone, and bowed deeply. As he was about to leave, a wind blew out the candles, and he heard a girl's voice in the wind saying, "Thank you." He looked back to see Amy's spirit standing by the gravestone, smiling and waving at him before fading into the night. Tom returned to his car, and his navigation system suddenly worked again. He drove away from the town, never to see Amy's figure again. When he reached his destination, he told his friends the story, who found it incredible. Tom knew he had helped a soul find peace, and the secret of that town would remain in his memory forever. He never traveled that highway again, but he knew that some places, some souls just need. Tom knew he had helped a soul find peace, and the secret of that town would remain in his memory forever. He never traveled that highway again, but he knew that some places, some souls just need a little help and understanding. The car's engine purred quietly as he drove away from the town, the rearview mirror reflecting the dwindling lights. He felt a strange sense of loss mixed with relief. As he merged onto the main road, he noticed a small, weathered sign that he had missed on his way in. "Beware the wandering spirit of Willow's End." He shook his head, dismissing it as a local superstition, but he couldn't shake the feeling that he had crossed paths with something beyond his understanding. The night's events played in his mind like a recurring nightmare, each detail more vivid than the last. As he reached his destination, the first light of dawn was breaking over the horizon. His friends, still awake and worried, rushed to meet him as he stepped out of the car. "Where have you been, Tom? We've been trying to call you all night," they exclaimed. Tom hesitated, the weight of the night's experiences heavy on his shoulders. He looked back at the highway, now just a shadow in the distance, and then at his friends. With a sigh, he began to recount the tale, starting with the little girl on the road and ending with the wind-blown candles and the whispered thanks. His friends listened in awe, their eyes wide with disbelief. Some shook their heads, unable to accept such a fantastical story. Others looked at him with a mix of fear and respect, as if seeing him in a new light. "I know it sounds crazy," Tom said, his voice weary but resolute. "But out there on that lonely highway, I found something that can't be explained." They spent the rest of the day discussing the events, each person adding their own theories and interpretations. But for Tom, the truth was simpler and more profound. He had been a witness to the unseen, a participant in the unspoken. And though he would never return to Willow's End, he would never forget the lesson it had taught him, that sometimes the most terrifying mysteries are the ones that seek our help. Story 4. As the moving truck rumbled away, Emily stood at the threshold of her new home, a mix of anticipation and unease swirling in her heart. The old house, perched on the edge of the city and surrounded by a tranquil forest, had a worn exterior but offered ample space inside for her family. Her children scampered through the house, their laughter echoing through the rooms as they explored every nook and cranny. Emily noticed a locked attic in one corner, her husband shrugging off its contents as leftovers from the previous owners. The children, with a sense of adventure, found the attic key and eagerly unlocked the door. Inside, the air was thick with the scent of must and old wood, the space cluttered with forgotten furniture and boxes. In one corner, they discovered an old painting, the woman in Victorian attire staring back at them with an enigmatic gaze. Night fell, and as Emily lay in bed, sleep eluded her. Strange noises from the attic echoed through the house, footsteps that seemed to follow her. She ascended the creaky stairs to the attic, but the noises ceased. The painted woman's eyes seemed to follow her, a chill running down her spine. The next day, her children claimed to have seen the woman from the painting walking in the house at night. Emily dismissed their stories, until she witnessed the woman step out of the painting and vanish into the darkness. Determined to uncover the truth, Emily searched for clues in the attic. She found a diary among the old boxes, its pages filled with the writings of the house's former owner, a woman named Elizabeth. The entries detailed Elizabeth's life and her growing fear of the painting. As Emily delved into the diary, she learned that Elizabeth had a twin sister, with whom she shared an unbreakable bond. But tragedy struck when her sister died in an accident, leaving Elizabeth devastated. She commissioned a painter to capture her sister's likeness, hoping to preserve her memory. After the painting was completed, strange occurrences began, with Elizabeth seeing her sister's apparition and hearing her laughter. Emily felt a chill as she realized the painting was more than just a portrait. It was a bridge between the living and the dead, between past and present. She was determined to find a way to bring peace to Elizabeth's sister and restore tranquility to her home. In her search, Emily discovered a hidden compartment behind the painting, revealing a drawer. Inside, she found a letter and an old key. The letter, written by Elizabeth to her sister, unveiled a family secret, a cursed treasure that had brought life to the painting but also brought misfortune. Realizing she needed to find the treasure to break the curse, Emily used the key to unlock a concealed cabinet in the attic. There, she found a beautifully adorned box. As she opened it, a strange light emanated from within, revealing a glowing gemstone, pulsating with mysterious power. Suddenly, the woman from the painting appeared in the attic, more vivid than ever before. Emily, gathering her courage, explained the situation and asked for her help in lifting the curse. The woman, who was Elizabeth's sister, shed tears of gratitude for Emily's efforts. Emily placed the gem back in the box and locked it with the key. The house shook, and the woman from the painting faded, disappearing onto the canvas. A sigh echoed through the attic, and then silence fell. Emily never heard the strange noises from the attic again, and peace returned to her home. She donated the painting and the gem to a local museum, hoping their story would be known and their power sealed away forever. Emily and her family continued to live in the house, never experiencing any more supernatural events. But she never forgot the secret of the attic and how she had helped a lost soul find peace. Thank you for watching today's video. If these horror stories gave you chills, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and share with your friends. Now, we have a quick poll for you. If you encountered these supernatural events, what would you do? Option 1, face them head-on and try to solve the mystery. Option 2, run away as fast as you can to escape the danger. Let us know your choice in the comments below. If you have any scary stories of your own to share, drop them in the comments too. They might inspire our future videos. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on the bell to catch every spine-chilling tale. See you next time.